what's going on. I just seen an article that I wanted to touch on, okay? And it's again about Google, and like I said before, I love what Google does with YouTube. It's great. I love what they do with search. It's great. I'm not saying Google should stop what they're doing. I'm saying Google should stick to what they're good at. So, let me bring up the article. Let's just get things rolling. TV becoming next competitive arena for Apple and Google. Now, it says, for some time, Apple has viewed its Apple TV product as a hobby. While the device has been updated occasionally, the streaming video gadget hasn't been seen as a weapon in Cupertino's battle with Google for media supremacy. However, that may change as word leaks that Google, Intel, and Sony have teamed up for Google TV. Now, can you imagine this? Google, Intel, and Sony have teamed up. People are wanting to dethrone Apple so badly that they're forming alliances that would have never been formed before. They're doing whatever they can to get a step up on Apple. And it looks like it's going to take three of tech's biggest giants to even try. And let me go on to read this. A Google TV prototype already exists. Google TV. Jesus Christ, Google. Do you have to copy everything Apple does? And if you're going to copy everything Apple does, do you have to use the same exact names? Google TV, Apple TV, Android, multi-touch, Android App Store. You guys deserve to get your ass suit off. I swear you do. Google TV. So not only do you want my search and all my private info, you want my mail, you want my phone, you want my Chrome, you want my operating system, you want my browser, and now you want all my devices too. You want in my living room set-top box. So you not only want all my info, but you want to own all my services, and you want to own all my devices? Are you kidding me? It says a Google prototype already exists, according to the New York Times. The device employs Google's Android operating system, no surprise there, Google's Chrome web browser, no surprise there, and Intel Atom's processor, no surprise there. The project has been underway for several months, okay? The project has been underway for several months. If it's just been underway for several months, Apple TV's been out forever. It's a blatant copy, okay? Let's see, where was I at? Let's see, plans to get a toolkit to developers over the next 2 months, with products introduced possibly by this summer. Google has begun limited testing of its set-top box with Dish Network, according to the New York Times. So now we're going to have this great Google set-top box, and everybody's going to claim, oh, Google's wonderful and Apple's so awful. They want to control everything. Apple just wants to control everything. And then Google is just slipping right in under your dumbass radar, and they're the ones controlling everything. And you all are scared about Apple controlling everything? Google is using the guise of openness to gain control of everything. Here, let's just say we're open, so everybody trusts us and we get control of everything. But our core services, we're not going to open. Our search algorithm, we're going to keep closed and stuff like that. So we're kind of open-ish. We're not truly open. We know Apple probably does just as much for open source as anybody else, but we're going to play this open guise on people. So people will think, oh, I'm going to get a Google TV instead of an Apple TV because Google TV will not let me watch more. It's more open than Apple. I don't have to stick to just this certain content that Apple wants me to see. And you see, that's where they get you. That's where they get you. That's how Microsoft got everybody. And you're all going to wake up one day to a Google-infested world, and you're either not going to care or you're not going to realize it. The people who ain't caring are the people who don't care to sacrifice their freedom for cheaper prices and convenience. I'm not that way. Logitech has been added to the project for their knowledge of peripheral devices such as remotes and keyboards, the report adds. So Logitech means Microsoft's kind of on board now. Although, you know, others have tried and are trying to refine the Apple TV, such as Boxy. Now, Google wants to be everywhere the internet is so they can put ads there. See, you're not getting anything free from Google. They might give it to you free, but they're running ads, you see. The newspaper quotes a person with knowledge of the product said this. Now, according to the report, Google plans software allowing TV viewers to do internet searches. Of course they would. Internet searches? Google search, I bet. Watch YouTube videos? Of course they would. Ads are on YouTube videos. The more people YouTube has as partner, the more ads they get to run. Have you noticed the influx of partners here lately? Google's been giving partnerships to people with 1,000 subs and less. And I think it's all ad revenue based. They plan on users to do internet searches, watch YouTube, or check out Hulu content. That is, if Hulu will get on board. Good luck. Also part of the plan, games or other web apps could be downloaded and run on Google TV devices. And I just said over Twitter, the next thing that we're going to hear about is Google Games. If you hear anything about Google Games, you heard it from me first. I'm the one who thought of it, okay? And this is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous that people are ripping off from Apple every which way but loose, and people still bash Apple, and it really just makes no sense to me. It's like people saying, oh, the iPad is just a big iPod Touch, and then the same people will turn around and say, these people are stupid for pre-ordering so many of these things that they've never used before. People's stupid to pre-order an iPad if you've never touched it, and then they turn right around and say, it's just a big iPod. You know, come on, give me a break, you can't have it both ways. If it's just a big iPod, then there's 250 million people that have used the iPad already. Okay, so don't say we're buying something we haven't used. So it's either a big iPod or it isn't. You know, which is it? I think you're going to see, once these devices get out in the wild, how much different from an iPod it is, and how great it really is going to be. Because you all saying it's just a big iPod Touch is exactly the same thing that's getting 250 million iPod Touch users excited. Okay? So come on, seriously guys, I know you like Google, I know you're for the open thing and you're all for competition, but this isn't competition. This is just blatantly copying other people's innovation and just using your market share and your ability to run ads to force it into everybody because you're going to give it to them for free. Just like they made Wayfinder shut down and lose 90 jobs because they went into the GPS, like GPS tracking thing, or drive directions, you know, turn-by-turn directions. They went into that, offered a service for free, and people had to shut down because of it. And that just shows how Google is. They don't care who they squeeze out. They don't care what kind of pressure they put on people as long as they get what they want. You don't think they could have maybe worked something out first before they just jumped in and pushed 90 families out of work? I mean, I know when they went into the business that they didn't know that they was going to have to shut down or this or the other. But coming into a business like that and offering a free service, you know it's going to have its repercussions, because not everybody can offer a free service and make their money on ads. Okay? If it was that easy, I'm sure people would do it. You know, but these other companies have people to pay. They got devices, actual devices they have to sell, and services. They just don't have the resources Google has, and they're just not able to offer the competitive edge that Google can. And that, to me, is anti-competitive. Going into a market that's really competitive between its people that are in the market. There's 3 or 4 major players, and all of them have services, all of them have devices, and they're competing. And then all of a sudden, somebody with unlimited resources hops into the fray and just offers the same quality service for free. To me, that's anti-competitive, not competitive. They copy everything they do. Everything they do is a half-baked, copied idea. The only original idea that I can see Google's ever had is search. Let's see, they bought YouTube. Everything here for the past 5 years has been a complete rip-off of Apple. They're even stealing their names. Google TV. Google TV. Google's supposed to be a think tank. And that's the best they can come up with, is Google TV. Did they not hear the Apple TV? Do they not know they're getting prosecuted and ridiculed for the thievery that they've done over the iPhone? You know, they could have made it different. They could have made it different, but they didn't. And they could have named it something besides Google TV, but they didn't. It's almost blatant. It's almost blatant, and it pisses me off, and I hope Apple goes for the jugular. Apple bought a maps company. I'd love to see Apple offer its own maps service for free, and that way all the iPhone users and iMac and stuff could start using Apple Maps instead of Google Maps. I wish Apple would make their own search to put on mobile, not for desktop, but for mobile search. I wish Apple would really start playing hardball with Google, because Google just thinks it can do whatever it wants and get away with it because it's Google. We'll see you next time. OS 10, brothers.
People are treating Google like their most trusted friend. Should they be?
Well, I think judgment matters.
Eric Schmidt is Google's CEO.
If you have something that you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. But if you really need that kind of privacy, the reality is that search engines, including Google, do retain this information for some time. And it's important, for example, that we are all subject in the United States to the Patriot Act. It is possible that that information could be made available to the authorities.